counts. I'm Scott Mitchell. You know who these guys are. And there's a real interesting news this week. The Oklahoma City Thunder, our NBA club, said this week, hey, you got to have vaccine to get in, or you need to provide a negative test, COVID test. It's a game changer. How do you see this?
Well, look, I'm a big fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm a big fan of this decision. I think it was the right call, and one of the reasons that I think it's the right call is here in the state of Oklahoma, we believe that private businesses should have the right to make these kinds of decisions. I don't think all of us sitting at home want our state government to start limiting what private businesses can and cannot do. I think the Thunder made the right decision here. They're protecting the fans, they're protecting their employees, they're protecting the players. And look, all of us want to go to games. We want to be in person and cheer on our Thunder this season. This was definitely the right decision.
Your thoughts about the Thunder's very bold move?
Well, as a big fan of the Thunder, and I'll be the first to admit, the Thunder are in a no-win scenario here. It's darned if you do, darned if you don't. I am disappointed in the decision. I wish there was a way to, when you have, for example, the OU-OSU football games going on with 80,000 fans at OU, we found other ways to get this done. I think it's going to hurt attendance, and I think in a small market team, we really need to do that. We need to find ways to continue sport. It's also quasi-governmental. We're talking about a governmental body, at least inside the arena. But I have to admit, Thunder were in a no-win situation. It was tough, whatever direction they decided to do.
All right, they've made their move, and we'll see. There's a lot of things have been happening since the Pfizer vax was okayed in this particular direction. I saw you on TV this week on News 9 talking about monoclonal antibodies. We talk about that every Monday night with the Fab Four docs. But it's starting to be an issue about supply. Give us an understanding.
Well, it's starting to be an issue about supply because the federal government intervened. Monoclonal antibodies are FDA approved. Everyone agrees they are good. If you are vaccinated and you get COVID, it's a great idea to go get these antibodies. It's Regeneron. It's the same drug that President Trump took. Frankly, it's the same drug that every single powerful politician is going to go take as soon as they get COVID, vaccinated or not. While we had no supply chain, what happened is the federal government stepped in, and now we're having supply problems. They need to stop. They need to get out of it. They are not helping. It's sending a bad message, and people are going to have the possibility of dying because they are messing with the supply chain they don't need to be messing with.
Understand that. Also, it's interesting. 7 states are taking most of the monoclonal antibodies, by the way, because it's Southeast Conference states who don't vax, okay? This is a big issue, and your thoughts about where this is going. It's a controversy.
Yeah, it's a building controversy, and I don't disagree with my colleague that monoclonal antibodies work and that they're a good treatment if you get COVID-19. Where I would disagree is one of the reasons that the feds had to step in and start determining which states were going to get how much of the monoclonal antibodies is what Scott Mitchell just said, is that in the Southeast Conference states and the southern states where people are refusing to get vaccinated and the rate of COVID infection is much higher, they're needing a much larger share, and so other states are missing out. If our state is going to be able to have what we need in the future, then the feds needed to step in this case.
All right, our next half hour is the death penalty about to resume in Oklahoma. The Court of Criminal Appeals sets a date, and Afghanis arrive in Oklahoma. Coming up. Hey, thanks for coming back. You know, the Court of Criminal Appeals set execution dates this week. It's a ministerial situation where that they have to do this. You know, just it's part of what they have to do. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but what's the story behind the story?
Well, the story behind the story is we have not had an execution date in the state of Oklahoma since, I think, 2015. It's been a significant amount of time. Now, remember, for someone to get to the point of execution, they've gone through rigorous appeals process. They've already been tried, convicted by a jury of their peers. They've already gone through the appeals process. The state of Oklahoma is for executions. We need to do them in a humane way. There's absolutely no doubt, and we need to follow the federal law. But I'm glad that we've started this process back up. If we're going to stop executions, it needs to be by a vote of the people, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. We need to continue to set these dates and set them in a humane way.
There's more confusion about this than anything since monoclonal antibodies, all right? Your thoughts about what people need to know about this, the straight-up information.
Yeah, well, I've said this on the show many times, and for those of you that knew me when I was a member, ran a bill to end the death penalty in the state of Oklahoma. I'm a big believer that it's not in the state's best interest to execute their citizens. I think all of the data shows that it's not only cheaper to keep someone in prison for life, but that when you execute people, it doesn't bring victims the kind of satisfaction that they believe that it will. You know, as someone that grew up in the Nazarene Church, I have always felt like that in this particular case, life is what we should proceed with. Having executions back on, especially when we don't even know if the cocktail that they have set will be effective and will be humane, I think is inhumane in and of itself.
Forgot all about the cocktail. That was the big controversy for many, many years. All right. Speaking about life, a lot of Afghanistan citizens have come to America to resume their lives. We know what happened over there, but they're coming to Oklahoma. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll lean back into my Nazarene roots here. Matthew 25, when I was naked, you gave me clothes. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me in. We've done this before with Vietnamese refugees during the Vietnam War, and it's worked out glowingly. We have an incredible Vietnamese population here in the state of Oklahoma, and I think we should welcome in Afghan refugees, those that helped our servicemen and women in Afghanistan do the kinds of things that put their lives in peril in their own home country. I think the state of Oklahoma, being a very Christian religious state, should absolutely welcome Afghan refugees in with open arms.
John?
Well, there's beyond a shadow of a doubt, my faith commands me to be there for, as I do agree with my colleague in Matthew chapter 25, to be there for the refugee, and Oklahoma should be there for the refugee. But there is something else we should be able to do. Oklahoma should be part of that vetting process. We should make sure we are taking care of truly refugees and we're not allowing enemy combatants to come inside. I've said on this show, it's hard to imagine a more botched Afghanistan exit plan than what President Biden has done. I want to welcome these Afghanistani refugees in here. We're thankful you're here. We're thankful you fought for the state of the United States, but we've got to fix this problem where states are involved in the vetting process.
Yeah, and if you're from Afghanistan, you're seeing this for the first time, welcome to Oklahoma. Hope you enjoy it. We do. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.